Can we talk about West Side Story?
Sure.
How did that come into your life?
That happened because I did The King and I with Jerome Robbins, the great choreographer who, that's the first film I made. I made his only 2 films. And I was under contract to Fox, which is the studio that made that film. So after he worked with me in The King and I, he said to me, I'm going to do a play next year called West Side Story, and I think you'd be wonderful for the leading role. It's Romeo and Juliet, and I think you'd be a great Juliet then. And he said, would you be willing to come to New York and audition? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And when the time came, I got scared, I got nervous. I'd done too many films where you can always do it again, where you have a lot of immediate help and you're not on your own in front of an audience. I really got cold feet. And a couple of years later, when I was visiting New York, I saw the play and I thought, oh, well, too late. Then it was decided to make a film of the play, and Jerry Robbins said to the co-director, Robert Weiss, I definitely want to see a girl named Rita Moreno. And at that point, I really looked like an Anita. I no longer looked like a Maria. And I auditioned for it. I auditioned for the singing part, for the acting part. They were thrilled. But then Jerry Robbins said to me, I know you've danced. You were a Spanish dancer. But he said, you still have to audition. Because if you can't cut the dancing part of it, you can't do it. I ran to the first dancing school that had all kinds of dance class in Hollywood. I hadn't danced since I was, I guess, 16 in that film with Mario Lanza. Hadn't danced at all. And that's like never having danced, really. Not even muscle memory at that point. And I attended class all day long. I went from 9 in the morning till 10 in the evening, every single day. I damn near killed myself. And it's just a good thing that I had enormous stamina, because I think anyone else would have gotten ill. And in fact, one teacher tossed me out of her class one evening, and she said, I don't want you back in my room. I said, why? I need this class, because it was a class on jazz dancing, which is what they were doing in West Side Story. And she said, because, dear, you work so hard, you turn a funny shade of purple. And I'm afraid something's going to happen to you, and I don't want it to happen in my class. So I ran to the bathroom to look at myself in the mirror, and indeed, it was aubergine. My body was so hot, I would raise fevers. I would get goosebumps and be bright red or almost lavender from the effort. So that's how I know I'm really a strong person. So I went on doing my classes, and I finally ran into a girlfriend who had played Anita on the road, in a road version of West Side Story. And I called her and said, I begged her. I said, can you teach me a couple of dance steps just to put me ahead of the game, give me a heads up? And she said, I'll be happy to. She said, but I have to warn you that what I teach you may not be what you have to learn in the audition. You know, when you do dance auditions, you don't know the steps in advance. When you do a singing audition, you know the songs. You bring in your own songs. When you do an acting audition, you've had the script for at least a week. You can even memorize it if you wish. But with dance, it's different. You learn the steps on the spot. You learn them slowly. And then within what seems like minutes, you have to dance it with style and elan and energy. And I was scared to death. I mean, I really wanted, my heart was in my throat. So finally the day for the audition came. I went in and I was auditioned by Howard Jeffries, who was Jerome Robbins' dance assistant. He did the auditions. And he took my hand, and there was a big mirror, and he said, okay, let me teach you a section from America. I was so scared. And guess what? It turned out to be the steps that my friend had taught me. So I did that. I remember I'd been asked to bring a wide skirt with me because there's a lot of skirt dancing in America. And then he said, I kind of got through that. Then he said, let me teach you a section from the Mambo at the Gym. And again, you know, the heart-stopping moment, and it was the steps that Deborah had taught me. So here's the upshot, which I love. I heard about this years later. As soon as I left the dance studio, he called up Jerome Robbins, who was very anxious to hear how it went because he really wanted me for it. But obviously, if I couldn't do the steps, I couldn't do the steps. And Jerry said, so, tell me. He said, well, I'll tell you, I have a feeling she hasn't danced in a while. And he said, but she's very energetic. She has a great sense of humor. She has a budding sense of style, not enough yet. She said, but you know what was really amazing? This girl caught on so quickly. Oscar and the Golden Globe. Sometimes it pays to cheat a little.